Okay, we're ready.
So we're ready. So I'll have to read over a number of, only two of the items went through. So I'll start with item number 3 under the closed session. Item 3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, paragraph 2 of subdivision D of Government Code 54956. Review and consider OAH case.
I'm sorry, sir, you're on the wrong page.
Am I really?
Yes, sir.
I thought you said.
Page 2 at the bottom.
Oh,
You're reading before you went to closed session.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Start with the last vote on the bottom of page 2.
Let me find page 2. Thank you for pointing that out. There's that page 2 I need. Thank you, Deanne.
You're welcome.
Okay, here we go. Number 3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, paragraph 2 of subdivision D of Government Code section 54956.9. 4, conference with labor negotiator, Government Code section 54957.6. The board took the following action. Moved by Hall, seconded by Arancibia, to approve the immediate termination of the employment of certificated employee ID number 28439, a teacher, with a vote of Arancibia yes, Hall yes, Segura yes, Solis yes, Tarantino yes. Moved by Arancibia, seconded by Tarantino, to approve one resignation agreement and general release with a certificated employee, with a vote of Arancibia yes, Hall yes, Segura yes, Solis yes, Tarantino yes. Moved by Arancibia, second by Segura, to approve the settlement in OAH case number 20210104777, with a vote of Arancibia yes, Hall yes, Segura yes, Solis yes, Tarantino yes. Page 3. I am pleased to report that we have selected a new superintendent. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Moises Aghetti on being named the new superintendent of our district. I would like to thank the San Diego County Office of Education for their assistance in conducting a robust and thorough recruitment and research process. The County Office of Ed identified nearly a dozen candidates for the board's consideration, 4 of which were chosen as finalists for interviews with the full Board of Trustees 2 weeks ago. That interview process produced one candidate to whom the board made a conditional offer of employment pending successful background and reference checking and contract negotiations. The County Office of Ed completed the reference and background checks last week, and our outside counsel negotiated several key terms of an employment agreement. That draft agreement has been placed on our open session agenda for consideration, discussion, and approval this evening. When the board considered that item, we will discuss and decide on the salient provisions of that agreement, including the salary and length of term. Again, congratulations to Dr. Moises Aghetti. The motion in the closed session was moved by Dr. Arancibia, second by Segura, with a vote of Arancibia yes, Hall yes, Segura yes, Solis abstain, Tarantino no. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda for the April 26, 2021 regular board meeting. Do I have a motion?
With the change that...
Thank you. With the change of moving F16 up to the front.
I'll make a motion to approve the board agenda with that amendment. That change, sorry.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, so we're going to go to item F16.
Did you want to take the speaker first?
Sure.
We have one speaker. Kathleen Cheers.
Is this public speaking, Ms.?
This is item F16, Mrs. Cheers.
Okay, thank you. I apologize. I could not hear. F16, right?
Yes.
Thank you. A new article today identifies the governor of California's salary as the second highest in the nation at $202,000. That is for the entire state. how does any school district justify a superintendent range of $230,000 to $260,000? Vice President of the entire nation, Kamala Harris, earns a salary of $230,700. The U.S. Attorney General, $147,251. Why wouldn't our board, as part of the superintendent appointment in closed session, have the salary identified prior to bringing it forward to the public? Our $30,000 range is a mighty vast range. The factual verifiable numbers I have shared is an indicator of why things need to change in the realm of public education. Facts like these will surely only add fuel to the legitimate move of school choice. I appreciate your time.
Sorry, there are no further speakers.
Okay, so we'll start with, we are starting with item F16. Is an item to approve the employment agreement for Superintendent Moises Aghetti and to identify key terms of the agreement. Key terms that still need to be discussed are term, salary, including date, new salary starts, and a waiver related to credential. So at this time, let's take these items up individually. A, which is term, I will recommend a 3-year.
President Segura, I will be recusing myself from this conversation.
Thank you.
Please let me know when this item is up. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So term, I am recommending a 3-year term. Do we have any discussion on that? So we're good with a 3-year term? Okay. Ruben, do I need to have a vote on those individually, sir? I'm sorry, Mr. Jordan, our outside counsel?
Yes, good evening, Mr. President, trustees. It's really at the board's pleasure here. If you think that you can combine all of the terms into one motion and get a consistent vote, then I would recommend you do that. If there would be any desire of any of the board members to separate out any of the terms, then an individual vote for each item would be allowed, understanding that the ultimate agreement would include whatever the majority of the board decided to include in each of those salient terms.
Thank you, sir. I think I'll go with voting on each one individually. So do I have a motion for a 3-year term?
I'll make a motion
So moved.
to approve.
Moved by Hall, seconded by Dr. Arancibia.
Yes, seconded.
Vote, please.
Adamos? Yes. Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Abstain.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 yes, 1 abstention.
Okay, B is the salary. The posted brochure, which was presented to on the, what was the name of the site that we used, or that the county used? Adjoin, thank you. I didn't write it down. It listed, the brochure posted and processed regarding the superintendent position listed a compensation range of $230,000 to $260,000 for salary, though it stated that the board reserved the right to increase the range if it is determined in exceptional conditions warranted. So we need to begin discussion on the salary. Do we have any recommendations on that from the board? Go ahead, sir.
If there's no discussion by the board, any board members regarding the salary, then I would go ahead and move that we approve the salary as stated.
So the range was 230 to 260?
260, as stated.
So you're stating 260. I'll second that.
Mr. President, if I may ask a point of clarification, I apologize for interrupting.
No.
So because a range was listed, the board would need to choose a number within that range as part of the motion, at least for discussion purposes. And then if your discussion warrants a change because
Sure.
you can't get votes
Thank you.
to support the number, then a second motion would be appropriate.
Okay, so we've had a discussion around 260. Is there any other discussion on that from board members? Trustee Hall?
Yeah, I would just like to put into the record that, you know, a while back when this started, I did look up some of our local superintendent salaries. And there's school districts, our feeder school districts, at least one of them has a salary almost at $300,000, and they only have 7,000 pupils in that school district. So I think the reasonableness of the range is good, and I just wanted to make that statement. It's not unusually high. It is a competitive range, I believe. Thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. That is true. I know that one of our feeder districts, their superintendent is at a $300,000 a year salary, and other districts similar to ours in the county have similar numbers in that 300,000 range. But right now we're at 260. Any other discussion around that? All right, are we good to vote on that, Mr. Rubin?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ruben Duran? All right, so we have a motion and a second, and then vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes?
Segura?
Yes?
Solis?
Abstain?
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 yes, 1 abstain.
And so then, as we have concluded the salary component of this, I would recommend that we begin the new salary effective May 1st. Any discussion on that? Or discussion on when we want to make this effective? Board?
No discussion on my part.
So I agree.
Okay, no discussion or no further discussion on that. I will entertain a motion then. For May 1st.
I will make a motion to approve.
I second.
Motion seconded to make the salary effective May 1st. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes?
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Abstain?
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 yes, 1 abstention.
The last item to address is a credential waiver. As you recall, when the superintendent aghetti was appointed as interim, we included a waiver or administrative credential. Does anyone have any concerns with including the same waiver language in this agreement?
I support it.
All right, if there is no further discussion on that, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes?
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Abstain?
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 yes, 1 abstention.
Okay, so I want to, just before I put the whole motion out there, because we have to, as this is written, I'll have to do it all in one motion, and I will reread it, though. The term will be a period of 3 years through June 30th of 2024. The salary will be $260,000 and will begin May 1st, 2021. We will also include the same language regarding credential waiver as is currently included in the interim superintendent agreement. The agreement also provides for the superintendent to receive the same fringe benefits as other managers. Do I have a motion to approve the superintendent agreement with these provisions included?
I move as stated.
I'll second it. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes?
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Abstain?
Tarantino?
Yes, but I have a point of, can I ask a question, or is it too late to ask a question? Will we be able to look at other aspects of the contract after this vote, or is this all-inclusive?
You're in the
This is
discussion
all-
by all-inclusive.
Yes, so you'll have, I think, Mr. Duran, so we need to look at it right now, correct, sir?
That's correct, Mr. President. So the item before the board is the full draft agreement as presented on the agenda and posted to the public. The discussion among the board that you just had was for the key terms that we anticipated the board would need to consider and vote on. If there is another term in the draft agreement that a trustee would like to either discuss or change, then now would be the appropriate time before voting on the entire agreement.
So now's the appropriate time, sir.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Duran. I have a question, two questions. On item M, the waiver that we just approved, would that allow Dr. Aguirre to evaluate employees directly accountable to him or her? Or is that something that he would have to delegate to other employees?
Mr. President, if I may, so the item M is a waiver of the requirements of Government Code Section 35029. That provision, it's pursuant to Government Education Code 35029, which provides that a local governing board may waive any credential requirement for the chief administrative officer of the school district under its jurisdiction. And in answer to your question, Trustee Tarantino, with that waiver, Dr. Aguirre would be able to supervise any employee of the district, and that's why it's included in the suggested draft agreement.
Okay, thank you. My second question revolves around, let's see. Under the heading Adjustments to Annual Base Salary, Section 4.2, the board may increase the annual salary of the superintendent at any time during the term of this agreement. I find this part of the contract troublesome. Usually, this kind of action is followed by an informal evaluation process, and I think that the fact that a board may increase the annual salary at any time without the formal evaluation can put the district at risk. So I cannot support that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Do any other?
Go ahead.
So do any other board members have any other items
No.
as listed on here? No.
So does that change your vote that you previously stated?
Well, we voted on the term.
That was when we should have had the discussion. And
You were
that would've-
voting on the entire item with all the terms that
Exactly.
you...
Right now we are.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right now.
Right, so he had cast a vote and then started discussion, so I'm asking if his vote is still the same
Oh,
as what you stated.
In terms of the four aspects that we voted on, if we leave that in, I can't accept the contract.
So, Mr. President, if I may,
Sure.
what I hear Trustee Tarantino suggesting is that the board consider a discussion about changing the language in Article 4.2 in order to garner his support for the entire employment agreement as presented and also as augmented by the individual sort of straw poll votes that you took just prior to this discussion. Trustee Tarantino, have I stated that correctly?
Yes, and all I'm asking, I'm not opposed to that. All I'm asking is that the increase in pay be tied to the evaluation process. That's all I'm asking. Rather than
I think
having,
that's reasonable.
So,
I think that's a reasonable thing to amend this with.
may
Yeah.
I suggest language, Mrs. Hall? In section
Yes.
4.2, if you were to put a comma at the end of the provision and state, after a successful evaluation process as set forth in section 3.3,
Right.
that would be similar to what we've seen in previous contracts.
So after the first sentence in section 4.2, we would put, after a successful evaluation process as outlined in item blah, 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 the board, and leave the rest of it the same. The board may increase.
I-
So that is my proposal. I mean, I guess I should say 3.3
I
and not
think-
blah, 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 right?
I think I have to withdraw my motion and then renew renew the motion as amended by trustee Hall with the language that has been provided to us by council.
So Deanne, are we on the right track there?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, technically, the vote was taken before, and Mr. Tarantino cast a vote of yes, so that's why I was asking if your vote was changing on that.
Mr. Duran, how you suggest we get through this with that change, that
Yeah, so,
amendment?
Mr. President, what I hear is Dr. Arancibia making a motion to approve the superintendent's employment agreement with the addition of the language as stated by Ms. Carbuccia, trustee Hall.
Yes, I'll second that.
And seconds that motion, and so this would be a vote on the entire employment agreement with the terms you previously took a vote on, the salary, the 3-year term, the starting in May 1st, and the waiver of the credential, and that would be the final vote that I believe Ms. Vicelo was referring to.
Okay, so let's vote on that.
Adamos?
Sorry, I actually have an additional thing to ask, just for clarification, nothing to add as a comment or anything. I'm not exactly well-versed in legal policies or employment contracts, but I do want to ask if, if in item 4.2, if this decision will eventually be made to public comment, if in the hypothetical situation, if the board decides to increase the salary of the superintendent, will that be made for the public to comment on in a future board meeting? Yeah.
I'll let Mr. Duran, the answer is yes, but I'll let Mr. Duran.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the board and trustee Adamo, yes, the answer is yes. Any adjustment to the salary would require an open session discussion and a vote where the public would have an opportunity to comment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now we're ready for the vote.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes,
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Abstain?
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 yes, 1 abstention.
All right, we can get Dr. Aghetti back.
I will say good night, Mr. President, trustees. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
for everything.
Council Duran. It's been really, really wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Counselor.
guidance.
My pleasure. Congratulations to Dr. Aguirre. I wish you a good rest of the evening. Bye-bye.
bye.
Do we just move on from there, Deanne, or do we,
Yes, you go back to page 3, B1.
okay, B1. So we're at page 3, B1. We will now provide an opportunity for the SDCOE representative, Dr. Mark Scrivano, to make any comments if he would like.
Comments?
Anybody here?
No comments. No comments tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll now have an update from our superintendent, right? There's no more interim in there anymore, right? Scratch that out. Our superintendent, Dr. Moises Aghetti.
Thank you, President Segura. Well, I had a speech neatly, kind of my update, which I'll go through, but I wanted to take a moment to express my gratitude to our Board of Trustees, and my commitment to our community is to work tirelessly on behalf of all of our students and all of our staff to really focus on those important matters, to ensure we're supporting our students, to ensure we're addressing the pandemic, and to ensure that first and foremost is our support to our entire community. A lot of us work here, a lot of us graduated from here. My own children attend school in our district. My oldest graduated last year from one of our schools. And so for me, Sweetwater is really more than a place where I work or employment. It's our community. And so it's on us to make sure we come together to problem solve when something happens unexpectedly. And so I'm really excited about the work in front of us. I really look forward to the collaboration with all of our stakeholders, our parents, our board, our community, our teachers, our classified staff, numerous stakeholders we have in the community. And so my commitment again is to work tirelessly on behalf of all of our stakeholders to help ensure that we're making decisions that help support and more than anything ensure our students grow into the productive citizens of tomorrow that, as we all have seen, we so desperately need, because that is our mission. Our mission is to ensure that we're supporting the next generation and that they have what it takes to ensure the productive citizens of tomorrow. There may be jobs we don't know exist yet. There may be crises that we face that we never anticipated, like a pandemic, yet here we are. And so how do we do this? We need to ensure that all of our students have a foundation through their education. And so for me, this is really the work that's in front of us. And again, I just want to reiterate my gratitude towards first and foremost the board. I also want to make sure I mention my wife, who puts up with a lot of me being away, my family, and our entire community, because we come together in times of crisis to address what's in front of us, and we do that together. And so for that, thank you to everybody who's here. Thank you to everybody who may be watching at home. And just that note of gratitude, I really appreciate it. And again, my commitment, and I think it's the commitment of our entire team is to work tirelessly on behalf of our entire community. So for that, thank you. And so I also want to provide a brief update. So good evening and buenas tardes. Welcome to this, our first board meeting that has occurred since we broke for a pandemic. And as you might be able to tell, we've had a couple of technology-related glitches, but that's what happens when you come back after you've been away over a year. So now that we're back, one of the things that's important is vaccines have rolled out. Our facilities have been equipped with air ionizers, which help to clear the air that we breathe. We're going to our next phase of return to a safe return to work and school. Much of this experience, in a way, is very reflective of what's happening in our classrooms. It's a hybrid experience, so we have gotten to experience firsthand some of the challenges related to that. On April 12th, we had a voluntary return for our teachers and students who were identified by AB 86. This includes students who are eligible for free and reduced lunch, have special education needs, are lacking in connectivity, are at risk for abuse, or English learners. We're extremely thankful for the teachers and classified staff who continue to support our students in this manner of in-person learning. Our next milestone is that on May 3rd, all staff, which includes teachers and classified and management staff, will be returning. Along with this return, we anticipate the number additionally of AB 86 students to grow to attend in person. Lastly, summer school and next school year, we prepare and we continue to monitor the guidance from the federal, state, and local health authorities. For summer school, we are offering both in-person and distance learning standalone models. At this time, we're planning for a full-time in-person return for the 2021-22 school year. Of course, we'll do this in a manner that observes guidance that is issued for schools. For students and families who wish to remain in a distance learning model, we will continue to grow our offerings at our Launch Academy, as well as to continue the offerings at our Independent Study program. There is much we have learned about COVID-19 and much that we, as a community, have endured. Hopefully, as we continue down this path to reopening, we'll all continue to receive our vaccines so that we can care for each other and protect not just ourselves, but also those around us. And so with that, thank you very much, and muchas gracias.
Thank you, Dr. Aghetti. We will now have an update from our student board representative, Mrs. Desiree Alamos.
Good evening. The first thing I would like to do is extend my personal congratulations to Dr. Aguirre. It has been an honor working alongside him as a student board member, and I can guarantee for the future generations of students that they will have a good experience with their district. Two things that I would like to announce are some opportunities that have come my way, which I feel like I should share with this community. The first one is that I will be serving as the alternative student board member for Area 2 of the San Diego County, and I'll be working alongside Life California from High Tech High School. The second thing I would like to announce is I'll be working alongside the California Association of Student Councils, which is the student branch off of the California Department of Education. Sorry, that's a lot of acronyms. And in this manner, I will be conducting student board symposiums for the student board members across California and providing information about education policy and how they can use student advocacy to push forward with legislation.
I think that deserves a round of applause.
Thank you. Another thing I would like to announce is that on Monday, we had a meeting with our Student Advisory Committee, which is a committee of students in our district that work towards understanding education policy and how to extend that understanding to other students. We spoke about funding and how funding works in our district, and I believe this is an essential step forward in helping students connect with their community and helping students gain the knowledge of how to use their voice to implement what goes on in Sweetwater. Another thing that I would like to announce is that on Friday, there will be a meeting with all of the GSA clubs in our district to discuss the issues that we're having with LGBT representation, and they will be able to speak directly with district officials about these issues, some of them including Miss Walker from our teacher labor union, Dr. Moore, Miss Scott, I'm kind of blanking, but they will be able to speak with district officials about their experiences as LGBTQ plus students, and we will be able to collaborate with solutions on how to move forward. Another thing I would like to bring up is that there have been some complaints that have come my way about employment issues within the Rancho Del Rey Middle School, and I would like to request transparency with this issue if it's possible, and for the representatives to speak on this, if that's okay. And that's all that I have.
Thank you. The board members have all received a copy of the DLAC report. Are there any questions or comments from the board? I will just say it was once again, a very thorough report. I read it. I really like they have in the report a number of things, but what I like is what is not working, what is working, and that instant feedback. So I really appreciate the time and the presentation that was in here that they received. So it was really well done again, and I want to thank the president for that. Do we vote on that, Deanne? No vote on that? Okay. Then we'll move to D1, conduct a public hearing for the public to respond to Sweetwater Union High School District's initial proposal to the Sweetwater Counseling and Guidance Association, CTA, NEA, SCGA, the exclusive representative of the counselors bargaining unit, and approve the initial proposal from the district to SCGA. I will now open the public hearing. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers, Mr. President.
The public hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion to approve the initial proposal from the district to SCGA?
So moved.
I'll second.
Move to second. Any discussion? No discussion on that? Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
D2, conduct a public hearing for the public to respond to Sweetwater Union High School District's initial proposal for the Sweetwater Education Association, CTA, NEA, SEA, the exclusive representative of the teachers bargaining unit, and approve the initial proposal from the district to SEA. I will now open the public hearing. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers, Mr. President.
The hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion to approve the initial proposal from the district to SEA?
So,
I will second that.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded?
Sorry.
That's okay. Moved and seconded. Further discussion on that? We will vote.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
D3, conduct a public hearing and authorize the application for the general waiver request to provide a 15-day extended school year ESY program for students with disabilities from June 7th, 2021 through June 25th, 2021. I will now open the public hearing. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers, Mr. President.
The hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion to authorize the application for a general waiver request?
I'll make the motion to approve
Second.
the general waiver request.
Move and seconded. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, that was the last one, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. This is the point on the agenda where members of the public may address the board on any matter not on the agenda and have 3 minutes each to do so. The Board of Trustees cannot legally take action on or respond to the matters not posted on the public agenda, but will refer the matter to the superintendent's office for review and report. Speakers shall remain respectful. Thank you for your cooperation. Clerk of the board, will you please? Oh, I'm sorry. We probably need to listen to the public
Yes.
at this time. Thank you.
First speaker is Kathleen Cheers.
Good evening. I was extremely concerned when I read in the Voice of San Diego article, district leadership failed to follow rules of transparency related to the bonuses, stipends, return to work incentives. This was exacerbated by the county's weak response to this disregard of oversight the county itself had put in place. The district basically resorted to ask forgiveness versus permission. It is now clear we as a taxpaying voting community are once again victim to a lack of the oversight the county indicated it promised. The county's response, there was none. We did not learn of this from the county. It was, rather, due to the actions of a resident in North County and a reporter. The only oversight voiced was that of Mr. Michael Fine. The actions of leadership in our trustees continues to be indicative of the continued failures of the Sweetwater District. In my public comment at the special board meeting last Friday afternoon, I raised concerns with the district's total disregard to involve parents' communities they are supposed to serve as it relates to how state, federal COVID monies would be used. I questioned the lack of involvement of school site council, the very body the state has charged with oversight of Title I. The presentation indicated DAC and DLAC were involved. I contacted members of those committees, who are very knowledgeable, to verify. No, they have not had a presentation on how much or how these tax dollars are going to be spent, nor were they asked for recommendations. They then offered there will be a meeting this week. Now, after questions have been raised, hopefully something will be presented. Let me be clear. If the district truly wanted partnerships with all parties involved, the presentation would not have included graphs as to how the money is going to be spent. The presentation would have shown how much and then asked for recommendations of how and where the money should be spent. They would have reached out and asked via questionnaire to all parents, to all teachers, admin, etc., for recommendations prior to the district's decisions. Has Sweetwater changed? Do we, the community, have engaged credible representation? Are the individual teachers, those who are on the front lines, being surveyed? The answer, no. The money is flowing, the reserves have been restored, the deficit no more. Yet our students have struggled for over a year and a half with virtually no extra support from CARES Act money. Our teachers were left for far too long to struggle and use their personal monies and resources to make virtual learning work the best they could. In closing, when the only common sense question relative to the millions we have received is asked by our student representative, Houston, we have a problem. I appreciate your time.
The next comments are from Christina Lopez.
Good evening, members of the board. I am Christina Lopez, the librarian at Olympian High School. I am reaching out to you to thank you for your action last year in which the district recalled teacher librarians first that occurred during the June 24th, 2020 school board meeting. Your action on this matter overturned the intent for the district to fully eliminate teacher librarian positions. The district is only seeing these positions as a line item in their budget, and that is very unfortunate. But even then, through union negotiations and even discussed in the meeting, with Dr. Aguirre in October of 2020, teacher librarians were informed that once funding came in, teacher librarian positions would be fully restored. However, almost a full year later, teacher librarians were not the first to be fully recalled by the district and to be reinstated to their positions first, as requested by the school board. Classroom teachers who were laid off have since been recalled back full time and superseded the school board's intent to recall all teacher librarians. Funding is coming into our district with no action in sight to reinstate teacher librarians full time. Consequently, we have a huge disparity across the district of librarians working at different allocations. There is a plethora of teacher librarians tied to master schedules as mostly classroom teachers, and their librarian positions are at a 0.2, 0.4, or 0.6 allocation based on enrollment. Teacher librarians are also part-time, juggling 2 different schools, and there are also a few teacher librarians whose principals allocated school site funds to ensure they kept their librarians with as much time as possible. This district-wide disparity should be very concerning to you because not all of Sweetwater students are being granted equitable access to their school libraries and to their school libraries. It is a divide between which schools have more teacher librarian allocations and which do not. It is a divide between which schools have more access to their libraries and which do not. It is a divide between which schools have more contact with the expertise of a teacher librarian and which do not. Providing a part-time teacher librarian solely based on enrollment and not the actual needs of each individual school and the community's literacy rate or the school's college-wide initiative is not the way to fund a teacher librarian. I am telling you right now that every school deserves access to their library and to their teacher librarian at all times. So I ask you to contemplate the following questions. Why should a Westside Middle School with the community's lowest literacy rate only get a 0.2 librarian? Why should a large high school that serves 2,300 plus students have to share their librarian with another large high school comparable to that student population? Why should a librarian be put into the challenging position of having to juggle both a classroom teaching position and a teacher librarian position and not be able to do their best at either one because it is too much to handle? Students deserve a library program that is facilitated under the specialty of a credentialed librarian. Students deserve equitable access to the physical and virtual library space and to the professional services of a credentialed librarian at all times, not just on a part-time basis. Having teacher librarians and funding them due to a school's enrollment, as the district decided to do, is detrimental to our students and our school community. Each school in our district deserves to have a full-time librarian regardless of enrollment, because all students deserve access to their school library and a library professional, especially to support the district-wide initiatives of college readiness skills and improved literacy rates. Your voice matters in the lives of the students of Sweetwater. Please remember the community that you serve and how they are being affected by the partial elimination of teacher librarians. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Courtney Pyers.
Good evening. My name is Courtney Perez, and I am the ASB President-elect at Rancho Del Rey Middle School for the 2021-22 school year. I am here tonight to address the fact that Amy Black, our current ASB advisor, has been removed from her position, where she has served for 11 years. As a current student at Rancho Del Rey Middle School, this is a major concern for many reasons. This year has been challenging and difficult for everyone in her or his own ways. I know myself that distance learning has been stressful, and we have all had to adapt in ways that we never thought would be possible. Connections between teachers and students have been a constant struggle to maintain. With the hopeful thought of returning to in-person learning in July, my working relationship with Mrs. Black has been an anchor to which I was looking forward to bringing our school back together. ASB is a connection of students to their school. As we continue on this journey of transitioning back to some normalcy, I absolutely believe that Mrs. Black is the bridge that we need. Mrs. Black is extremely passionate about her job. She is an amazing person and teacher. She has been the soul behind Rancho Del Rey for many years. My sisters both went through Rancho and were involved with the ASB. The relationships my sister had with her were something that I always looked forward to as I joined the ASB as well. Mrs. Black has done her absolute best with what she was able to do during this school year. However, the ASB has not been on site. To make such a huge change to our school environment after the challenging year we have all lived through creates a tremendous gap. The 7th grade ASB students did not have the opportunity to develop our ASB the way that we did in the past. We did not learn how to run the store, keep inventory, and plan events and activities for the student body because we were not on site. Uprooting an advisor like Amy Black is at such a crucial time for our community and school is a mistake. She has been in this position for many years. She is skilled and experienced with running our ASB. As president, I would be working closely with her, and when I ran for this position, that was one of my main motivations. I hope that being here tonight and voicing my concerns for many people in our community, including students, parents, teachers, and anyone who knows Mrs. Black, that you will consider not allowing this change of ASB advisor to take place this school year. Please allow us to transition back into our loved Rancho Del Rey Middle School with a strong bridge. We need Amy Black to connect us all again. We need to come together as a community with someone who understands and has experienced what ASB can do with the school site. I feel compelled to be here tonight to bring the situation to the board. I appreciate your time and consideration to this matter. Thank you, and I wish you all a great night.
The next speaker is Stephanie Hubner.
Good evening, Team Sweetwater. Congratulations, Dr. Aguirre, on your official appointment as superintendent. Thank you for your service. As I stated in last month's board meeting, the allocations for FTEs have already been given to school sites, and they did not include the return of librarians full-time as the board desired back in June of 2021. It's time to look at those budgets and start advocating for our students. It's our duty. It's our calling. I met with my admin team today, and we discussed how the final collection of textbooks and iPads might look with me being a .2 librarian. My new principal asked, how are we going to get the work done while you're in the classroom? So I'm going to bring that question to you guys. How is the work of the librarian going to get done while we're in the classroom? How many assets and dollars will be at loss at each site at the end of this fiscal year because you no longer have asset managers? We reinstated most of our teacher reduction in force from 2020, but now we're here nearly at the end of the year, scrambling for resources and personnel to compensate for what's turning out to be multi-year of asset losses. I guarantee when we combine our losses in equipment, textbooks, circulation books, and other materials, it's going to far surpass the salaries that you, air quote, saved. And I say it with air quotes because simple math tells me it's not a savings. It's a massive loss. And who's going to be impacted? Our students, district-wide, of course, especially the kids on the west side who don't have any literary resources. I need to address the elephant in the room. I need to highlight the inequity that's facing the east and west side. We have an inadvertent result of our allocations this year. In the west side school, where we have our highest needs population and our lowest literacy and achievement rates, library service has been reduced to only one period. This situation frustrates me so much I want to scream and cry. Our west side students deserve better. They don't have anyone providing them literacy enrichment. And now as we go back to school, our most needy and vulnerable students do not have a place to go to ask for help, to get resources to bridge the divide that this district has now made even greater. How is the literacy divide going to be bridged without services? We have all of this extra funding and resources due to COVID to put towards student achievement, but we're not using it in a way that will directly impact student achievement through literacy. It just baffles me. If we don't support the students when they're young and develop their literacy skills, we're going to end up supporting them later through welfare. Dr. Aguirre, now that you're our official leader, I hope, I pray, I plead of you, please keep your word, reinstate our library staff full-time, and ensure that the future of each school in this district has a literacy expert to lead the way into bringing this district to a new era of excellence. We're counting on you to be the advocate for equity for all students, especially those kids on the west side who need your voice the most. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
The next comments are from Trevor Angood.
Good
Good evening. My name is Trevor Anga, teacher librarian at Eastlake High School. I rise once again, and for the 8th time, to emphatically stress the need for full-time teacher librarians at every site. A while back, I spoke of Dr. Aguirre's comments in a meeting with librarians on the need for librarians, and that the current unequitable allocations spoken earlier by my colleague Cristina Lopez were, quote, a down payment on a future investment, end quote. Simply put, the time to invest is now. I'm in the final stages of wrapping up my master's in educational technology and media leadership, along with my teacher librarian credential at Cal State Long Beach. Simply, my down payment of schooling is coming to fruition, and I am ready to invest in this district my craft and expertise to be a teacher librarian that supports all students, all staff. During my schooling, assignments, research, and projects were geared towards those subjects of interest and beneficial to my library and school site. Colleagues volunteered for interviews to help investigate barriers to collaboration at the high school level for my qualitative research course. A recent lit review examined the implementation of open educational resources and potential barriers, a topic that has been chatted about in our district library meetings in consultation with curriculum and instruction. OER, a potentially significant cost-saving avenue for materials adoptions, would be extremely useful in a district where English books are nearing 20 years since their initial adoption, and more than one social studies textbook still in use that mentions Barack Obama as a senator, an office he left in 2008, once elected president. Librarian courses have allowed me to explore getting books into the hands of students, how to publicize, how to make connections to curricular content, and how to organize them for easy location. In fact, my fall project in my library was to organize my fiction books into genres or categories, like historical fiction and horror and romance, which are housed in the same aisle. My professor, Dr. Jenna Worsley, teacher librarian at El Camino High School in Oceanside, was a valuable resource to help in some decisions, as she saw a 30% increase in circulation at her library after gentrification. My next big undertaking, among many, will be to diversity audit my collection, examining the authors and characters' backgrounds and experiences to make sure that all voices are represented for our students. I've come to realize that this position needs others for feedback, plan projects, and create materials that can be used across the district. Every other department on a school site or across a few schools has colleagues to meet with by subject matter. It's difficult to do so with colleagues who are only teacher librarians for one, maybe two periods. Once schools are shut down for COVID, teacher librarians worked together to create a centralized Ask the Librarian Google form, where respondents were able to receive responses within one business day from all of our librarians. The thought that was always in the back of my mind is the what if. What if we don't have to fight constantly for our positions? What else would we come up with? Grossmont District put together and implemented a gamified summer reading program for staff and students last summer. Yet, a year and a half later, the advocacy continues and will continue to bring back full-time librarians at every site. In closing, I recently came across an article regarding Michigan House Bill 4663, a bill that would require a teacher librarian in every school in Michigan. State Representative Darren Camilleri, finish this paragraph please, who was a teacher before going into politics, notes that Michigan is facing a literacy crisis that has only been made worse by the COVID-19 pandemic. He goes on, quote, if we want students to succeed, we need to expand access to books and media that are enriching and reading level appropriate, and we need certified librarians who can help them develop research skills and foster a level of reading. In our state right now, a library is required in every prison, but not in every public school. We want to change that and improve outcomes for all students in the process. Out of curiosity, I looked at the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation website to see if this was the same case here in the state of California. Their library services page states that, quote, library services are available at all CDCR institutions. Thank you.
Thank you. I had another request from Camille Arellano, but I don't see her on the phone line. So there are no further speakers.
Thank you. Clerk of the Board, will you please read the items being pulled from the consent agenda?
Yes, the following items are pulled. Item F3 by staff. Item F14 by Mr. Segura. Item F15 by Mr. Segura, Mr. Tarantino, staff, and the public. Item G3 by Mrs. Hall. Item G5 by Mrs. Hall. Item G7 by Mr. Segura. Item G9 by Dr. Arancibia and Mr. Tarantino. Item G13 by Mrs. Hall. Item G15 by staff and Mrs. Hall. Item H2 by Mrs. Hall. Item L4 by staff. Item O1 by Mr. Segura. Item Q1 by Dr. Arancibia. Item Q3 by Mrs. Hall. Item Q5 by Dr. Arancibia. and item Q6 by Dr. Arancibia.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as read?
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and second. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right. So we could go right to F3. Any volunteers to go first? I'll go first. So first of all, we could use this time to congratulate Dr. Gary, if you'd like to, in your time. And I personally like to congratulate you, sir, on your appointment to superintendent. We've been working together for 5-6 years now. And you came highly recommended when you came here, and you were battle tested through those years while here serving at facilities and all the other places that you were asked to help. And I think it was because of you were a really good communicator, and you're good at listening. You're very good at collaborating, and you believe in the team concept, which is something I truly believe in. And I think you're going to do a great job as an administrator. And I know you have your students, your family, your students in the district. I still have one left for another month, but I just look forward to working with you going forward, serving as a president till the end of this year. And I just want to congratulate you and thank you for putting your name in the hat. What I was going to mention was on this item was, let me find it here. Oh, it's right in front of me. The only thing I wanted to mention was I wanted to point out that this is the first public meeting that we've ever had with our new trustee, Dr. Arancibia. So I wanted to welcome you to the board in person.
Thank you.
And I look forward to working with you and continue to work forward with you. And you've provided some great input in your short time here. And I really like the way you think and your experiences growing up in pretty much the same environment that a lot of our students, grow up in and experience. And if I can remember because I can't find my paper, but if I do find it, I'll bring it up later. So anybody want to go next? I think Trustee Hall, or no, Mr. Vice President Solis, Go ahead. Vice President Solis, go ahead.
Thank you, President Segura. First off, I too want to congratulate Dr. Argubia on his appointment as our new superintendent. He has done a wonderful job as interim, and I know he'll continue to move the district forward. And although there's no conflict of interest or no monetary gain on my part, I just thought of an abundance of caution since he first arrived at our district, our long-term relationship. I didn't want to muddy the water, so I chose to abstain, but I truly concur with my colleagues with his appointment, and I know he's going to do a great job for us. And also, I wanted to congratulate Ms. Adamos for all the appointments that she let us know about. I didn't get a chance to get them all down, but man, that's impressive. And it just shows the amazing students we have here at Sweetwater. So congratulations, Ms. Adamos. I know you'll do a good job with those appointments. And also, I would like to thank the Mayor of National City, my wife, the UC San Diego, the staff at Sweetwater, our superintendent, and the National City Fire Department for obtaining 500 Pfizer vaccines for our students at Sweetwater. They will be getting their vaccinations on Thursday, April 29th, and their second dose on May 20th. So that was very impressed, and there's a lot of need, and our students are jumping on, and they're filling up those appointments really fast. So wanted to thank them for doing that. And also wanted to ask you guys to join us May 1st at 6 p.m. on YouTube for the AXA and the San Diego County School Board Association's 19th honoring our own virtual event. So hopefully we can see you there. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Solis. Trustee Hall.
Thank you, President Segura. I want to say congratulations also to Dr. Aguirre. I really have confidence that you will take us forward and really put all the things we need in Sweetwater will be established, and I believe you really do listen well, and you do try to really consider the best approach to resolve issues and to make sure that it's all in the best interest for our students. So I'm very happy with your appointment. I also wanted to say yay to our efforts to establish vaccination centers in our district, and I really am appreciative of the county's help, of our supervisor Nora Vargas, of Mayor Todd Gloria, the mayor of San Diego, Mayor Serge Dedina of Imperial Beach, Mayors Alejandra Sotelo Solis of National City, and Mayor Mary Salas of Chula Vista. I know that their efforts have really helped move those pods into our across our district, and have helped with expediting vaccinations for our teachers. And I know I got my second one this past week, so I'm closer to being able to come back as well, and I'm looking forward to that. And I just wanted to say that there is May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's Mental Health Month, and there is an event coming up on May 4th. It starts on May 4th. It's called the Mind Out Loud, and it's for students of middle school on up through high school. And you can find information about it on mindoutloud.org. It's supported by the County Office of Ed and also the California Department of Education. It's all online. It's a virtual event. And students will have the opportunity to connect with their peers across California, hear from engaging speakers, to be equipped with practical tools for wellness, something we all need, but I believe our students would really benefit from. It will increase mental health awareness and advocacy for themselves and for their friends. They'll learn about suicide prevention and reducing the stigma of mental health. So I really think that that is a timely and important event. They can register for that event on mindoutloud.org. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. Mr. Tarantino, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, President Segura. Dr. Aguirre, I think I need to tell you and members of the public why I voted no. The reason was because I am a firm believer that the superintendent should have had credentials and experience in working in our schools, in public schools, and that is the reason that I voted no. Had nothing to do with you personally, and I wanted you to know that I will work with you and my colleagues to move the district forward as we go from this point forward, to make our district good and better for not only the students but our staff and our stakeholders. You have my pledge to do that. I would like to congratulate John Chakowski, who is sitting in the back of our boardroom, for being named Region 18 Administrator of the Year Central Office by ACSA, the Association of California School Administrators, and I believe, like Vice President Solis said, you will be honored at a virtual event, which means you'll have virtual rubber chicken on May 1st. That was a joke. I keep trying, but never seems to connect. I'd also like to congratulate Sam Trapsey, Castle Park senior, who received an $8,000 scholarship from the ACE organization, which is Architecture, Construction, and Engineering Mentorship. He is a student of Mr. Cesar Gamez, Castle Park CTE teacher, and he was the only student who was recognized in all of San Diego County. So congratulations to both Mr. Gamez and to Sam. And last of all, I'd like to congratulate Kimberly Gonzalez Zalapra. I hope I said that correctly. She is a senior at San Ysidro High School. She is the awardee of the Gates Millennium Scholarship Program. This program promotes academic excellence to provide opportunities for students of color in the disciplines of computer science, engineering, library science, math, public health, and other sciences. She has received a full ride for undergraduate studies at Stanford University in the fall. So congratulations to Kimberly, and well done. And that's all I have, Mr. Segura.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Ancibia.
I just wanted to congratulate Dr. Aguirre as well. In my short time here, you've been really, really collaborative in the way that you've approached leadership, which I think is a really important thing. I think it's interesting that the whole issue of teaching comes up. I've taught 30 years, and I've seen people move up the ranks, that have taught 3 years, and they were not particularly good teachers. They move up the ranks, I think the important thing is what efforts we're doing or making to make the community come together and to place us in a better place in the future. This has been like a year like no other. And you, as a leader, have actually navigated this through what I consider probably the most difficult educational year that we've had, at least in my lifetime. And I've been teaching 30 years. Unprecedented. You've taken us from a $30 million structural deficit to a surplus of many millions of dollars. And you've done it with grace. I've never seen people work with grace that you have. You don't get frustrated, you don't get angry, you just kind of internalize it and listen to it. I'm here to listen because you want the community and the district to get better. If there's one thing I can say to you about your leadership, and the best kind of praise I can give to you is that you can do that. And that's what we need moving forward. We need everybody in the room and the community members to actually think of this district as a positive place that's trying to move forward. We've suffered enough this year. Families have had, losses that, we can't even talk about. And the only way they're going to do it is kind of rallying behind you, Moises. And we're here going to rally behind you. And I really, really appreciate the way that you approach leadership. Get your hands dirty. You got to get in the mix. You sign people in. And that's really important because it tells us you're not a leader that's thinking of just the paycheck or what title, but rather that you're working with us to make the district better. I can't give you better praise than that, okay? I have to also say Ramadan Kareem to one of the parents that in the last board meeting that we had last weekend, and remind us that it's a time period for the Muslim community to come back and actually meditate and reflect on the year through fasting. And I say that to my family as well. But I just want to leave you with that. I think it's really important for us to come together, and I think you're showing us how to come together, so I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Dr. Ancibia. And I found my notes, so the last thing I was going to mention under my F3 for me was the San Diego Labor Council has continually been out at our schools feeding our community with tons of food. They've been at a number of sites, seems like every weekend. And we have some tremendous partnership with some of the construction unions in the San Diego Labor Council, but it's just not them. It's the teachers, it's everybody there, and they do a great job. And I just don't want that to be missed. And I truly appreciate the service they're doing for our community. And with that, we'll move to F14. That was pulled by me. So my question was just that number one was $1.9 million. Is that new money, or is that just continuation of a grant, Dr. Aghetti?
Thank you, President Segura. I'll ask Dr. Alvarez to respond to that question. Dr. Alvarez.
Good evening, Dr. Aguirre, Mr. Segura, board members and community and public. This is a renewal of the grant. So it's the extension grant for the incentive for the California Technical Education Incentive Grant. This is, I believe, the third extension that we received.
And so is it 1.9 every time we?
It is
get
1.9 each year, yes.
Okay, because what caught me was, it's in the middle of that paragraph, the district is committed to ensure high-quality curriculum instruction, to provide career exploration and support services, ongoing structural industry and labor partnerships, and opportunities for participations in internship competitions and other work-based learning opportunities. So, and it continues on with that. I was just, curious if, and I have said this up here before, just, if we could renew our efforts in trying to reach out to the various industries in our community that could help us with this. And I know we need people to do that, and I know there's maybe some money there in that proposal that we saw last week. So I just, I saw that and saw this, and just hoping that, because we need resources to do that work, because that just doesn't happen. We need, actually, to me, we need somebody who would be like a coordinator of that. That would just be very helpful, but that was just really my what I saw in this and wanted to speak out. And if there isn't no other discussion on this, I will entertain a motion for approval of F14.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, let's move to F15, and has some things I need to read.
Actually, if we could take the public comment first?
Yes, let's do
You need
that.
to read those before you make the motion.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I have one speaker, Kathleen Shears.
I have a question regarding Article 4B. It appears to include an increase to the salary. If so, what is that amount? Respectfully, the community would appreciate plain English language on any salary agenda item. Is General Counsel on contract, or is she a salary-based employee? I didn't think you could be both. Please clarify, as this write-up is thoroughly confusing. Noted. Attachment is the amendment to the agreement only. What would have been appreciated and expected by the public was real data referencing tax dollars which had been paid to outside legal counsel, including JPAs. Is this a precursor to future raises coming down the pike? Your time is appreciated. Thank you.
No further comments?
Okay, I need to make the statement. The key terms for this agreement are as followed. For 2020-21 school year, a loss of compensation of $9,396 in furlough days, beginning with the 2021 and 22 school year. Placement on the management salary schedule, grade 1B, consistent with her hire date in the district, and term of the agreement extended to June 30th, 2024. So I would ask for a motion where we could have discussion on this. Do we have any discussion on this item?
I pulled the item, President Segura.
Yes, sir.
I too find the analysis confusing. I don't know if, it sounds like General Counsel Carbuccia will be on the salary schedule in terms of pay, but then have a contract. And I don't know if she's going to be on the salary schedule. I don't know why there's a need for a contract. The other thing is that this is being brought forward and we have not had an evaluation. And her contract says that there should be a yearly evaluation and it should be around April 15th, and we have not had that. And so, like I mentioned in the previous contract that we talked about, I believe that this kind of action should be predicated by an evaluation. So as this stands, I cannot support it for those reasons.
Thank you, Trustee Tarantino. Do you have any other comments from the board on this item?
I move to approve.
There is a motion to approve.
It was also pulled by Mrs. Hall.
So-
Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was the wrong
I
one.
didn't have-
No, it was Mr.
yeah.
Segura.
Yeah, so
No,
I was just going to speak in support of the item. Maybe we can get some clarification on the question that was put in front of us about the confusion with the analysis. Is that possible?
For clarification, can the specific question be repeated?
Can I offer a comment on it first? Is it just tying it to what that amount, like giving her some sort of tie back to what an employee would make? And because I was under the impression we had to have her as a contracted employee.
Okay, so can you repeat the question, please? I mean, what's the exact question?
Okay, if the general counsel is going to be placed on the salary schedule, why is there a need for a contract? Because then she's entitled to all the privileges and stuff as a regular employee. So what's the benefit of a contract? I see it as, I don't understand, if she's on the salary schedule, and I'll use Dr. Aguirre as an example. When Phil Stover was here, and I can talk to this because I was the president at the time, when Phil Stover was here, he brought in, he recommended, and we went through a process, but General Counsel Carbuccia and Assistant Superintendent of Facilities, Dr. Aguirre, were on contracts. And that in addition to the superintendent. I don't know if that's required or not. It was his recommendation that they be put on contract. Later on down the pike, Dr. Aguirre decided to go on the salary schedule and give up the contract. So I don't understand, like Mrs. Cheers mentioned, how you can have both. I don't understand that. And what would be the benefit of a contract? She's protected by all of the safeguards that a regular employee would have. All of you who are sitting here.
All administrative faculty have, and all administrative folks work under contract, right?
No, not in the
So
K-12
maybe
system,
Deanne
maybe.
can answer the question. It says that this item has been, like, if you have any questions, please contact Deanne Vicedo. Do you have a,
No. So, Dr. Aghetti, go ahead.
So currently, only the superintendent position and general counsel have a contractual relationship with the district. The other staff are indeed on the schedule, on the salary schedule.
And part of the benefit of having her also on the salary schedule is instead of every year negotiating the actual salary, the salary would be consistent to salary schedule. In this case, the salary schedule, the 1B. So there would not be a need to negotiate a salary every year, every time she's evaluated.
Okay, I get it.
I wish salary schedule 1B would have been placed on the agenda so like that we could see where that placement would be. I have no idea how much, I didn't look at it.
Yeah, so yeah. The salary schedule 1B is the same as the one for the assistant superintendent. So it has seven steps, I'm sorry, it has 7 steps. It ranges from $180,697 to $205,479. And those are the ranges from step 1 to step 7. Based on her hire date, consistent to her hire date, she would be placed on step 6.
Okay, Doctor, as far as I could see, General Counsel Carbuccia's current salary is $192,927 and change.
Correct.
So what would be step 6 of
So
1B?
So that amount includes the furlough days that she currently has.
Correct.
So step 6 is 201 to 271. So that would be dependent upon whether or not there are furlough days.
So can you answer the benefit of a contract versus being on the salary schedule? And can you have both?
Well,
If I may, Dr. Reyes, they are not mutually exclusive. I have not found any information that says it's one or the other. The contract, again, for purposes of equity, ensuring that there's a similar pay structure to assistant superintendents, can incorporate the salary schedule. If that makes sense.
So we have a motion.
Yeah, that was a dangling motion.
Yeah,
there
sorry
we're
about
waiting
that, sir.
It's
I just
waving
wanted-
in the wind right now as we're waiting.
Yeah, so
Cool.
I'll second the motion, and I truly, as written, and I truly appreciate the work that our general counsel has done, especially during this period of COVID with all the negotiations, all the MOUs, tremendous amount of work, and she's just done phenomenal work, and I firmly believe that I fully support this motion, so I am making the second. Vote, please.
Can wait,
Oh, sorry, Paul, I didn't see your hand up.
Come time.
Oh, Arturo too.
actually Arturo was first.
Maybe we need a little bell, maybe a little ding or something, because, go ahead, Arturo.
Oh, thank you, President. I didn't want to interrupt. I was going to second the motion, but my question was also going to be with. So is this tied in with her evaluation?
Summary right now, it is not. It is tied to the salary increase would not be tied to evaluation. It would be tied to the salary schedule. So the salary schedule it's based on years of service, and it caps on step 7. So she would be on she would be placed on step 6 based on her consistency to her hire date, and it would cap at step 7. So the following year it would cap according to the schedule.
Oh, okay, thank you. But I do want to agree with President Segura. She has done a tremendous job and done a lot of work and been very helpful to us and the district.
Trustee Hall.
Thank you, President Segura. I also see that as, I think the evaluation will be coming, because I asked about it, and I know that this timing is off, but in all due respect, there's been other years where it wasn't brought in a timely fashion, and I feel that this salary is actually recognizing that she is furloughed just like everybody else. She's taken a cut just like everybody else in management. I think that's clear in this contract, and I support it as well, because I really feel she's been a critical employee serving this district in ways that really have elevated the district, and which people may not understand because they don't know the whole full scope of everything. But I feel like she's done a stellar job. So I would support this.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. So there was a motion, a second, and I think we're all done talking about it, so we can vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
No.
Motion passes 4 yes, 1 no.
Okay, G3, pulled by Trustee Hall. And that's the one-time purchase of supplemental curricula from a vendor.
Okay, I think is this the one on this special ed?
Yes,
to move.
unique,
Okay.
yeah, to unique needs of students with disabilities.
Right, and I think that's wonderful. I see a lot of great things coming to our board now for our special ed teachers and students, so I'm very, I just want to commend, I don't know if she's a doctor, Sturm Gonzalez, but she's doing a phenomenal job with our special ed department, I feel. And I support it. I just want to know if there's professional development and such, that we see what the calendar is for that, so we can monitor any professional development. We know the calendar for it. I'm not sure if that's the right item or not, but that was it.
Thank you. That'll be looked
And I'll
into.
make a motion to approve. Thanks.
There's a motion to approve G3. I'll second it. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
G5, pulled by me. Bring that up, please. I think I have a note here.
The OWL Labs.
Yeah, my question was, I know, and I don't have a problem with this at all, and I see the expenditure of $87,000. My question was, who's going to do the install? And that's sort of, and if there's that includes the cost, or is it just in-house? Just those sort of questions.
So, thank you, President Segura. It's my understanding that these do not necessarily require an installation, but I will ask for confirmation from Dr. Alvarez. Dr. Alvarez, do the owls actually require installation, or can they be placed on top of a teacher's desk?
So once again, they can be mounted. There is a piece where they can be mounted and be fixed mounted, or there's one where it could be like a tripod mount. And so it's just depending on the site and what they're going to be doing in different classrooms. Depends on the classroom configuration.
So there's options there for the class. Okay, I think it's a great idea, and I'd like to actually see one of those. So that was my only question. And Paul Hall, did you have a question?
Yes, I had a question. I pulled it too. And it really actually goes along with some other items that are on our agenda, purchases of other devices and things. And I just want to make sure that there is, because these are kind of high dollar, they're not cheap, right? So $19,000 just for the items, 20 items. So I think I'm asking about the inventory of these kinds of things, and I think it's great. Obviously, it's needed because there'll be blended learning models in some cases. But I think I'd like to know, are we maintaining inventory on these items, and is it centrally, so it's not just a site by site having their own little system, but we're doing a centralized system? Because I know in our audit subcommittee, our internal auditors were having to grapple with some of that reconciliation that had been going on from our last audit, where a lot of items were gone and not accounted for because they'd been on there for years and really should have been removed a long time ago. So I want to make sure that we're having those things. All this expenditures are being monitored and inventoried, and then we're going to be including that double check to make sure those items are still in the classrooms at, a year from now, that kind of thing.
So thank you, Trustee Hall. The short answer to that is yes, there will be an inventory process. I will ask Dr. Sawkill to provide a brief description. Dr. Sawkill.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Trustee Hall. To answer your question, yes, we are working through that process and ensuring that the purchase order for these items are going to our central receiving or purchasing warehouse so that they can tag that asset and track it accordingly. It's a key component in the work that we have ahead with the new computer system to ensure that we have these accounted for. And particularly this item, it's also purchased with Title I dollars, with federal dollars. So there's a specific accounting there that we have to then also demonstrate when we have a federal program monitoring, which we just had recently, that we provide those records for that.
Yes, thank you. I was going to say that too, but I think even if it wasn't federal funding, we would still need to, I mean, I'm just voicing my, my concern that we do this on a, you know, that we have clear guidance and administrative regulations around how we inventory and that we do that across the board for no matter what the resources, because it is, you know, the district's funding. So we want to be good trustees for that, you know. So I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve G5. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. And G7, that was actually the one I pulled. And it was kind of the same question around, does that include the installation cost of the flat panels, or are they mobile too?
So, Dr. Alvarez, if you can respond to that, please.
So for these, the Troxel flat panels are on mobile units, and so it's a mobile stand with a shelf. That way there's the ability to move them around the classroom as needed.
Okay, thank you. If there's no other questions on it, I'll make a motion to approve G7.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
G9 pulled by Dr. Arancibia. And that is the Launch Academy.
We actually discussed this, you know, a little bit before. This seems like a really, really large project, and you know, per the information that we received in closed session, it seems to me like it's going to be a larger project than what it is. Correct? And that's my base question. I mean, in terms of the timing of it, it's not going to be set up right now, but rather just a piloting it for a shorter amount of time, then going forward. Right? Correct?
That is correct. Correct, Trustee Arancibia.
No, I appreciate it. That was the information I needed for that.
Sure.
I also pulled that, but I withdraw my poll.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I don't have that as your name, you down there for that, sir.
Move to approve.
Sorry if I missed any of yours. Just let me know if I missed any of yours.
Second.
Move the seconded. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, let's just take a 10-minute break, please.
Okay.
We'll be back at 8:11-ish.
You okay?
We're good to go. Okay, let's move on to G13, correct?
Yes.
Pulled by Trustee Hall.
Thank you, President Segura. Excuse me. I don't know what that sound is, but I just wanted to know how this vendor was selected. This is the ASB Works licenses for the ASB clubs. I mean, not clubs, but ASB.
So I'll ask Dr. Sokol if she can provide some information. It also was a collaboration with Dr. Winters, I believe. Dr. Sokol?
Thank you, Dr. Aguirre. We had actually worked very closely with IT and our ASB assistant principal at Olympian High School, and also one of the deans or one of the ASB advisors at Southwest Middle. They had actually brought forward a proposal that we had actually scheduled prior to COVID a demo of this software because it is online, much more robust than the system of active networks. So it was a conversation that was had at the ASB level and the recommendation they brought forward.
Thank you. And I'll ask Dr. Winters if you can elaborate on the ASB Works. It's being brought forward by Information Technology.
Sorry, I was being chased by that siren. I'm sorry, the ASB work is G15 and it was related to what devices?
Licenses from Graystep software for ASB for use by all school sites and the finance department, and authorize superintendent or representative to sign all necessary documents. So this is a process or program that was facilitated through the information technology department.
Great.
The question was the method for procurement. Was this through an RFP process or is this through a piggyback contract?
I'm not familiar with exactly the process, so I wouldn't want to speculate. Is Mr. De La Casada on the line to provide that information, or he would not? Then we can have to provide that in a later update.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Here's a question regarding this. Is this something like really pressing for this meeting that we need to support? Maybe we need to get a report back from that? Would everybody feel comfortable with that? Or is it something pressing that we need to approve right now?
For that, I'll ask Dr. Sokol for additional information. Dr. Sokol?
We have been working, because the two schools that are pilot is Southwest Middle and Olympian High, and so we are preparing to transition the schools effective July 1st, this platform.
So the two schools piloted it this year?
Correct.
Okay. But are you aware of how the vendor was selected?
I believe it was the contract, 'cause it's under the threshold for procurement processes, and I think we brought it forward to legal. And the ASBs had brought it forward in terms of their proposal and their recommendations.
Well, we get 20% off in this next fiscal year, so that's pretty good. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve this item for now. Thank you.
Motion to approve G13.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Let's vote.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
G15.
Dr. Arencibia has a statement he'd like to read regarding G15.
Yes, out of an abundance of caution, I will be recusing myself from participating or voting on any agreements with High Tech High or associated agreements because my sibling works there. So I'm going to just step out of the room and I'll come back.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Hall, you had pulled this as well, and staff, it says.
Yeah, I'd like to I'd like to learn a little bit more about this and what our expectations are coming out of it, and I know it's a lot about data, looking at data and things, but is there professional development for our teachers involved at all? What are the outcomes that we expect for our students and for our staff?
Thank you, Trustee Hall. I'll ask Dr. Alvarez to provide response. Dr. Alvarez.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. That's a great question. So the item right now is to really negotiate and enter into the agreement. There are still conversations about the professional development. Overall, this program is focusing on building teacher efficacy and looking at continuous improvement across school sites. And so it really focuses on looking at what are those conditions and factors in terms of teacher-student relationships that can increase student engagement and educational outcomes, and also ensuring that we have a system that monitors on-track readiness, and we do have a built-in system with that, but that we're continually monitoring, adjusting, and supporting our students as needed. And then there's also the component about collaboration within the PLCs and this team that will be created at each site that will include teachers, administrators, and a data person, so that we can continue to focus on that continuous improvement. So it does involve PD for the teachers. It involves some additional training, and then some additional time with students. The additional thing that they do have is also looking at our curriculum and the way that we're engaging with our students in a culturally relevant manner to increase student engagement.
Could we have a calendar? I'm going to loop back on any of the professional development type contracts and pieces we have, consultants or whatever, that we get a calendar developed for the district-wide, across the district, of when there's different PDs, whether it's school, just specific to a school, or if it's a district-wide type of event. I would like to know the calendar of that throughout the year, and also to ensure that we're validating who's attending those, how the professional development is going on, whether we're releasing teachers from the regular school day to attend, which means a substitute in their classroom, or if we're paying extra time for them to have that training outside their regular contracted day. I'd like to have that. The same with classified employees, just so we have a comprehensive, idea of what's really going on, because there's a lot of money, there's a lot of need, and I fully support professional development for all of our staff. I think it's important to keep that going. It kind of helps keep the fires of your enthusiasm, your skills, all those things. It sort of replenishes you as an employee, as a leader, whatever. I do, but I think we need to know when those things are happening and really have the feedback on what kind of value they're providing for our staff, and ultimately the goal is how that translates to our students. So I would really appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm hoping that one day I'll be out there at the site and kind of see it and talk to the people involved, at least at one of the schools, Southwest Middle. So I'll make a motion to approve this item.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. I'll second that item. G15. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 yes, 1 recusal.
H2, pulled by Trustee Hall,
Can we get, you want to get?
correct?
I
Yes.
just think this,
Oh, yes, let's get
We were getting Dr. Arancibia back.
Arancibia.
excuse me.
They went to get Dr. Arancibia stepped out of the room, so they're going to go get him. and
Okay,
Then we'll
okay.
continue. You have your water, bro. Bottle of water.
Beg your pardon.
H2, pulled by Trustee Hall.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for for the staff bringing this forward. I think our military families do, the fact that they're going to have this accessible to them and to our students is really important. And I think that probably even some of our staff that are military families as well could, will be able to access it if possible. But I'm very thankful for that, and I'm glad to see that schools over here are also included on it. Thank you. I would like to learn, once it's ongoing, some numbers. I don't expect to know people, like who specifically, but I would like to know the numbers of families or students that were involved in this counseling, and what some feedback, if possible, from those, anonymously is fine, to see how it benefits them in the long run. Thank you.
So I'll entertain a motion for approval ratification of H2.
I'll make a motion to approve H2.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Let's go to L4.
This item is pulled because one of the requirements of the declaration of need is that the item be approved not as part of the consent agenda, but approved as a separate item.
Thank you for that clarification.
I'll make a motion to approve L4.
I'll second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Great. Let's go to O1. I pulled that. I just have a comment on it. I think as this is just another step in the process of possibly getting this work done at our 3 sites. The battery storage, and I think that's the technology of the future, as I'm sure everybody knows or maybe doesn't know. At utility scale, or at our school site scale, that'd be utility scale, and a way for us to save money and to use less fossil fuel. So I'm really glad to see this take another step forward. And with that, I will make a motion for O1 for approval.
Second.
Moving to second. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
And so we'll go into the resolutions. Q1, Dr. Arencibia.
Well, there are 3 of these resolutions that are just really important to me as we consider coming back. I have 2 daughters that are going to come back in July. And I just want to say thank you so much to the teams that we have here on campus, on our campuses, and I'll begin with the nurses. We understand how hard it is in this time period, and not to, and this is something that you do on a regular basis. I just want to say thank you for all the service that you, provided our campuses in terms of transitioning and advising the schools and the school leadership to be able to, as to how best to open up. And so I just want to put that on the record for everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Arencibia. Any other comments on this? And I know we had an item that was, I think on the consent went through, and it was for our nurses to actually give vaccinations. So they just continue to do a fantastic job. And absolutely, they're truly a very important partner of this team. And if there's no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion for Q1.
So moved.
I'll second that. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis? Mr. Solis?
Thank you, froze.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 yes, 1 absent.
Let's go to...
Sorry, I can't assume his vote.
He said yes. You got him on right now.
He just came back to life.
Fine, motion passes 5 yes.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. Q3, pulled by Trustee Hall. Resolution Q3.
Yes, I agree with Dr. Arancibia's remarks. Really true that we have a lot of resolutions tonight that are about staff and how important they are. And I really want to appreciate each and every one. The teachers coming up, the classified staff is coming up. But this one is about designating the month of May as the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and considering all of what's happened in our world and in our country in this past year, and the attacks on our AAPI communities and people, I really think that it's important that we kind of bring something special for our May board meeting to recognize and allow our students, or, we have a great staff, like you said. I think we talked about before, the Magaisa is a conference that is put on every year by our Filipino and AAPI teachers and staff counselors. They come together and they really do this wonderful thing for students. I think it'd be great if we could get a performance from one of our, some students in that group, have them perform. If they need to do it virtually, that's fine. I mean, they could tape it or whatever, video it and show that video in May. I think it'd be really special for all of us. I've been to their conferences more than once, and I think they really are amazing. A very great cultural event, really deep rooted in our community and in our school district. So I think that's really important. And I just want to say I'm thankful that this resolution is being adopted tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hall.
I guess I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
To approve it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Move to Q5, that's Classified Employees Week resolution, pulled by Trustee Dr. Arancibia.
I just wanted to point out that classified employees have really been part of the backbone of us being able to, open up. And the other part of it is feeding the community, helping to feed the community. So this is one of those parts of my job where I really, I see you. It's funny because it's important that we see each other and we make space for each other. And this is one of the things that I really hope that the classified employees understand, is that we see you and we're appreciative and thankful for all the work that you've put in. The community is appreciative and thankful for all the work that you put in. So, I just want to make sure that in this week that we take the time to actually say to classified employees, and they can range from, work clerk, and I see the work that you put in, down to the folks that are working in cafeterias, handing out food. I see you, and I think it's important for us as a community to continue that kind of verbalizing of we see one another, right, as a way of kind of opening back up and helping each other open back up. So I just want to see that.
Thank you, Dr. Arancibia. Those are really, very good remarks.
So I'm going to move that we approve this resolution.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Great. Last one is Q6. The final EIR on Bonita Vista track and field, pulled by you, Dr. Arancibia.
I'm going to stop on this one. I had a question, but I think we're okay with this one. I'm going to just forego that.
So I'll just say I'm glad to see it take another step as well. And I know that school, like several other schools in our district, need a field or need to get a new field, Castle Park High. And and I just appreciate seeing, because I spent a lot of time on fields with my daughter. That's some of the most enjoyable times of my life, is watching the athletes play. And then you hear remarks, and I'll just say I hear remarks when I'm watching the field, and like we bring a guest, and I had a friend who come into town. He spent a week with us, and we took him to San Isidro. They got a nice field, you know. It's a good track and a nice soccer field. And then we took him to a home game, and he's like, "Why does that field like that and this field looks like that?"
Exactly.
And I'm like, "Yeah, we're working on that." Aren't you on the school board? And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm working on that." And but you know, I know we're going through get through these issues, and you know, and I know we'll get there. I'm just looking forward to this breaking ground and throwing a shovel in the ground. So, did you make a motion, sir?
I'm going to make a motion right now. Move to.
I will second it. And with that, we'll take a vote.
Adamos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
He freeze up.
I think he froze up.
Let's give him a. We'll give him 10 seconds.
No, he dropped.
Oh, he disappeared.
No, wait, I hear him.
Audio.
9,
Yeah. Mr. Solis?
8.
Yes.
There you go. Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, that concludes it. So we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Right. Good night.
Good night.
Congratulations again, Dr. Aguirre.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye. See you later.
Night.